And now this big war starts and he's in the Pentagon doing acquisitions. And he said, you know what, Jocko? I said, this is my foxhole and I'm going to fight. And that's what he did. And I think that attitude, regardless of where you are, sometimes I get people that were in the military and they didn't deploy to combat. And they're like borderline ashamed about it. And I'm like, hey man, you signed that dotted line and you did what your country needed you to do. So, thank you for your service. But yeah, for me, I think that I really just love the teams, and the teams, man, every day was awesome.
Why did you decide to separate? I mean, I think you kind of just said it, but the reason I'm asking, Jocko, is, to have, and I mean this in the best, most respectable way. It is a real fucking shame for the SEAL teams, for the Navy, for the United States to lose a leader like you. And so, there's a lot of frustrations. I think there's there always has been, there always will be, right? There's a lot of frustrations, but especially in the last 8 years, there's a lot of frustration within, the military ranks. I hear it. I'm sure you fucking hear it all the time too. And it seems like the best leaders, in my opinion, always wind up leaving early.
It can definitely happen. I mean, we do have some amazing leaders in the SEAL teams. But, for me personally, so I get done with that task unit, I come back, the admiral who, I had worked for was still in charge. And, he met me on the plane when we landed. And he told me later that he's like, when he got on the plane, because he got on the plane, like the plane lands, he got on the plane, his family are outside. And he said when he saw me on the plane, he was like, oh, like, uh-oh. Because, bro, we were, we were in the game. And, at a certain point, you don't care about anything else. You know what I mean? And I was definitely at that point by a long shot. And, of course, respectful to the admiral, said hi and thanks for coming. And I got off and I saw my family. And he said, when I saw your family, I was like, oh, he's going to be fine. And so he also said, what do you want to do? Like, it was awesome. And when Mark died, I talked to him. When Ryan was wounded, like he was just awesome supporting. And again, my whole chain of command, the Commodore, the Admiral, my commanding officer, like everyone, the senior enlisted guys, because I knew all the senior enlisted Master Chiefs as well. And everyone was just very, very supportive. And so when I got done with that deployment, he said, where do you want to go? And I knew where I wanted to go because Ramadi was not over yet. And we saw like a glimpse of change, but they did some of the heaviest fighting after we left. And so I knew, because I was in training cell at SEAL Team 1. And when I was in training cell at SEAL Team 1, I learned so much and it was so important. I realized how important it was to train. And then having my guys, Leif and Seth and the rest of the JOs and the E-Dogs, like bringing them up in the teams, I knew that I needed to do that for more guys. And so I knew that the one place that I could do that was going to TRADET. And so I said to the boss, the admiral, I said, I want to go to the TRADET. And he said, cool. And he gave me orders to TRADET. And when I got there, it was exactly, what I knew it was. I knew that we had guys and, we got home October 21st, or when we left Ramadi October 21st, the guys from Team 5 that are depicted in the movie Warfare, that happened November 19th. So, we had just left and those guys got blown up and yeah. Elliot and Joe, you know, got severely wounded, which was horrible. But I knew that that's what I need to prepare guys for. And I knew that there was no better place to do that than TradeEt. And so that's what I did. I went to TradeEt, and, you know, it really turned out to be even better than I thought it was going to be, because now I have so much context in my head about leadership, about combat leadership, about the big army, the Marine Corps, the Navy, the battle space, everything from CQC to recons, just every type of operation that we could do. I felt pretty good about. And so I went in there and started teaching leadership and started running training. And it was awesome. It was awesome to be a part of. It was awesome to be a part of. And it was a little weird too. Like, we'd be doing mount training, urban training, and I'd be watching, and I'd see like some new guy standing in the middle of the street, and I would get like a sick like knot in my stomach, and I would like go over to him and like, bro, get out of the street, man. You're gonna get shot out here. And like, I really,
fuck, man.
yeah, it was definitely, you know, it was perfect place for me to be, because I cared about the guys more than anything, and I just had a bunch of experience with this exact thing that everyone was going to do. So, you know, that's what I did. And when you asked me about why I ended up retiring, so I showed up there and I was probably at like 17 years or something like that. And, you know, it's just, okay, this is what we're doing next. Do this for a while. And then I started, there's one thing that I didn't like when I came home from deployment. When I was gone on that deployment to Ramadi, when I left on my first deployment to Iraq, when I left, my son couldn't crawl. When I got home, he could crawl and he could walk. So I was like, that sucks. In Ramadi, and I also, you know, of course you miss all the holidays, whatever. But then when I got home from Ramadi, he could swim. I remember asking my wife, like, who taught him how to swim? And she's like, oh, it was, you know, one of the lifeguards down at the base. And I'm like, dude, I'm a frogman, and someone else taught my son how to swim. That sucks.